I am now wearing this hat because I am a bipolar introvert and this is one of my alternative personalities. By the way, I'm just joking about being suicidal as of right now. Exalt must have been the word I was looking for. I am misplaced in time. They swayed me into my own exaltment. They misled me to my own misplacement. They accelerated me to my own demise. They swindled me into bad times. Donald Trump used his blue beam plasma orbital laser cannon on me. They sped me up to my own abstraction. They abducted me every day. They extracted my brain, put it in a jar, replaced Sam with the clanker you see before you, while the real Sam droid is chilling in Antarctica with Charlie Kirk and Adolf. Extracted me to my own exulsion. They've excluded me, you get it, to my ulterior side. The acting skit side of me has become the side I've shown people my whole life, and now it is becoming who I am. Absolved. They have absolved me. Maybe that was the word I was looking for. One of them anyhow. Absolved. Absolve. Maybe it was expulsion. Stranded could have been one of the words I was looking for. Becoming addicted to the things of this world drives you further away from God. Addiction is like shackles. Addiction to this world is like shackles. When you become an adult, you become sadistic. Sadistic adults are the ones shaping our youth. Children are not masochists. You don't need to get your sick kicks and thrills out of seeing those kids hurt. My mind was too young to be able to comprehend what was going on. They didn't talk to me. I have been misguided into abstraction, led down a bad path because I tried doing it their way. I became the staged personality in real life because I was shaped into the person they've wanted me to become. It makes it really hard to talk to people. I divert from modern civilization because they all wanted me to. You know, the legendary saying is blonde hair and blue eyes. So maybe Frieza is... maybe it's their way of telling us something. Also, the goblins from Goblin Slayer rape women, and I hear they steal and pillage. Maybe it's their way of saying they're traitors to their own kind. They're traitors to their own kind, these people that we're up against. Traitors to their own kind. We love bears because we have to eat, and they have to eat as well, so that is why we don't like them. I need belief in me. I need faith in me like a giant spirit bomb. You know, these kids give me energy. We need to save them. Some kids are way on the other side of the spectrum. Way on the other end. Everybody can just laugh and have fun. Everyone can just get along. I had to believe in me. I had to faith in myself. You know, the cross is the symbol of the living sacrifice. Jesus made the ultimate sacrifice. In order to be more like him, you must sacrifice yourself for God. Men are honest about their sin. That is another reason why I do this channel. Why be attracted to the things of this world? Most kids don't get exposed to this kind of content. You know? I had to have faith in myself. And go make yourself a happiness pie. It's just so intolerable. It's just so intolerable because I've seen this coming since I was a kid and no one listened to me. Every day I wake up and think, maybe today I'll meet someone, maybe today I'll talk to someone, and it never happens. I just want to be alone. I'm sick of all this advice of people telling me what I can and can't do while the weak are getting purged. I can't take it. You better than this. We shouldn't have to slave for people who aren't better than us. You're better than that. If you do that to a child, they can grow up to become either one of two things. Incompetent because they've been broken down by society or reshaped by your peers, or intolerable because they put you through so much trouble. You either think that you are the only one who's had to endure this kind of trouble from the system and hassle from your peers, or you think that everyone's gone through their trials so yours aren't worth mentioning, but you don't understand that others are going through it extremely worse than you do. You know, at the other end of the spectrum, if you know what I mean. Your opinion is greatly admired. Your opinion is greatly appreciated. I can't help but look back on all this and remember who I am and think I was not good enough. I did this alone. The first kindergarten was back in 1837 in Blankenburg, Germany. Massachusetts passed the first compulsory education law in 1852. Beethoven, December 1770 to March 26, 1827. Frederick Chopin, March 1st, 1810, October 17th, 1849. Mozart, January 27th, 1756 to December 5th, 1791. Johann Sebastian Bach, born March 31st, 1685, died July 8th, 1750. You see the pattern? School was made compulsory in Germany for children between the ages of 6 and 13 in 1882, or primary education, although evidence of the schools trace back to even the 1500s, the earlier 1500s, but maybe the schools were family run or civic run, or better, because they don't keep the records of it, and maybe that means that they've been more geared to learning towards helping themselves rather than helping the ops, because if they don't keep any records of it, then it probably means it wasn't theirs. Because if they don't keep any records of it, it means that it probably wasn't theirs. Maybe it could mean that it was destroyed and what our old schooling was replaced with theirs. How am I supposed to sleep at night knowing that I might leave one day without my family ever knowing that I would ever come back? Perhaps maybe I misplaced myself in time. They will tarnish me. They have tarnished my identity. I am no longer who I am. Why should I sit around while the weak are getting purged? The nanomachines, microbes they're called, are being spread throughout every town and every city for 100 miles of where they dump them. You would have to run hundreds of miles away from civilization. I knew it was going to be this way. I knew it was going to be this way. Bobby V, the night has 1,000 eyes. Why do you think the night has 1,000 eyes? Backstabbing, lying fiends. The reason they took down Ten Tails Crime was because that channel was a dedicated list. He devoted the time he had, whoever's behind the channel, to finding out who killed all these kids, and YouTube removed it because they don't want to get in trouble with law enforcement for condoning responsible questions being asked. It could be because of the hate in the comment section, but that hate is well deserved. Every single one of those kids were perpetrators and should be held accountable for this. They don't want you to know that every teacher deserves to be punished. I say go back with the Wayback Machine and punish all those who have been involved in extinguishing their light. Every teacher should be held accountable. Human ingenuity is the most powerful, unpredictable thing. Humans putting their minds together to create. That is dangerous to them, so I understand why they made school, to undermine God-given intelligence and demean all bright intentions who are righteous at heart. Ignore those who have a gift of their own and snuff out any quiet kid that comes up with their own ideas. Get rid of intelligence, no putting any new ideas on the table. When I posted Basin Street on YouTube, YouTube took down a video I found called Porgu or Hell, Estonian grotesque animated film 1983. There were 3 different versions of the same video, 480, 480, and 720. They took down the 720 rendition. Luckily, I downloaded it before it got removed. The Oregon gun tuber Paul Harrell in Eugene also had his channel effed with before he died from cancer. He said that he wanted to make videos for at least 15 more years. A channel I like, Barracuda Cable, an animator, also got taken down multiple times. He had put his videos back on there. Odin's Men also had his YouTube channel completely nuked, all his videos taken down, and his channel permanently removed from the platform entirely. All his videos, because he was an old Vietnam vet ripping on drag queen story hour in the classrooms and joking about teachers who like to mutilate male genitalia. I just talked to my cousin over the phone a few months ago, mentioned YouTube channel Ten Tails Crime, who delves into teen and kid suicide, death from bullying. He mentioned a story about a little boy who had his life taken in the school bathroom. In actuality, all you would have to do is watch the video to understand he was murdered by other students in the school bathroom, and the school covered it up and labeled it as a suicide. The other kids followed him into the bathroom. They left. The school labeled it as a suicide. Investigators labeled it as a suicide. The school did everything they could to draw attention away from the event. It was a murder. Authorities haven't released any details. The channel has been permanently removed. And that hell film was beyond anything that would ever be posted at that time in 1983. Bystander effect. They feed off the negative energy and don't do anything about it because they don't want to interfere. They don't want to make it an unfair fight. Now, it was never fair, but if someone sensible does something, then the next generation will look at the damage that has ensued and realize if someone was that pissed off to accomplish this, then there must be someone else out there to blame. Bystander effect. Your friends won't help you because they don't want to get hurt. They look at what happened to him. They ruined my life. Because they feed off the negative energy and they ruin my life. You have friends that hang around you who know your personality. They are paralyzed when they see you get hurt. They feed off your energy and they don't want to get hit. They don't know what to do, so they let you get sticked. Then you die. Imagine dying. They give us only school conferences and city hall meetings. Boy, I would just like a list of names of every Jew controlling this town, influencing our decision to fight our own rights while a real bunch of cowards. The Huns, Romans, Goths, Slavs, and Mithridates from the Crimea Peninsula overtook the Scythian Empire. The Scythian Empire stretched west from Mongolia and ancient northeast China to northeast Iran and the Danube River, and in Central Asia reached as far south as the Arabian Sea. Also ruled Media and Chao, crucial frontier states of ancient Iran and China. Crazy, huh? They made weapons of gold, and they were hated by everyone. Between Black and Caspian Seas, Lake Van, underwater Uartian castle with obsidian tools imported from Oregon. Show audience side. Okay. If you're afraid of kicking your opponent, then it probably means that you don't know how to deliver a proper kick. So today I'm going to teach you the proper side kick method. You bend your leg off to the side, and you straighten it out as quickly as possible using your heel to drive as much force into your opponent's head as possible. I was punched for being happy. I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to eat, so why should I? I don't get a thumbs up in life just for being here. I should cease to exist just for existing. My heart keeps sinking in pain. And I haven't even taken a bite of the birthday cake they made me for 3 days. I don't deserve to eat. Everybody was just unkind and uncaring for me. Maybe I shouldn't be forced to hate myself just for existing. Maybe that should be better. Maybe that would be better just for me to put a mask on and to shade my emotions, or hide them. Certainly that is what they wanted, is for me to become so desolate and so disassociated from reality, so disconnected from society that I should just sit in my room and be alone. Between you and me, I don't know why nature has to be so cruel, but just sometimes people remind me of those ants. You know, my whole life I realized that you gotta slow things down in order to speed things up sometimes, so that the keyframes blend in order to prevent overshooting. So we've become so addicted to the things of this world that all the future will be is a ripoff of a ripoff. No self-expression just leads you to becoming this acting/skit side. No self-expression leads you to becoming this acting/skit side in real life. You become this as a real-life survival method to retaliate against all the negative attacks. That has led me to becoming socially isolated, because I didn't tell people these things. I gained no help, but I didn't know it would be this way for me. At the start of this reset, the Rothschilds were making coins in France. Coincidence, right? The orphan trains, not a coincidence. The orphan trains of the 1800s were to separate the families from their kids, hence the name Cabbage Patch Kids. They were acting as if they were just grown in a field, like as if they don't know where those babies came from, right? Cops are taught that if you don't have time to raise your gun to the torso, you pull or squeeze the trigger when the barrel is in alignment with the pelvic region from your crotch to just about below the belly button. So how did they make me? They took a perfectly healthy, normal boy, sent him to hell, fucked with him, and attacked him, and got away with it. They put me at the wrong end of the rope. They put me on the wrong side of the spectrum, and left me there, and threw me away at the end. They left me to suffer in this misery until I had someone who's smart to come wake me up in life. You know, when I realized what they did to me, and what it meant. That's how you created a monster. The truancy officer can take the child, but only with a court order, and the police can take your child if you are a neglectful and abusive drug addict, fence-smoking, crackhead, blue-haired maniac, if you're just not fit to be parenting at the moment. And to that I say, yeah, steal the child, take the child, report it to law enforcement. The demons will always be there, God will always prevail, and you think you know something about oppression? Well, we're all turning black now. You could come and kill me, or you could come after me to kill me. They could come after you to kill you, but the question is, will they do it? Is it worth their time, and are you worth their time? When you're an adult, there is a filter. You see past the world as the way it presents itself to you. I heard from a military Navy personnel that the military is harboring real-life anime cat girls in real life. Why do they get access to cute anime cat girls in real life? Every second, there is a crime and a dangerous act of violence being committed that you could stop every day. Being a hero doesn't get you attraction. They don't like heroes. They just don't like them. Life is just a video game, but please don't kill someone just because of something that you heard someone say on the internet. If you really like me and you really like the channel, then you have to not take this the wrong way. The last thing we want is for the innocent to die or get hurt. We will all have to face the light of God eventually. You see a light wherever you go. You'll have to face it again and again. They were snorting pixie sticks at my school. And God will win because the demons will possess the machine when our leaders resign from their position. Then black arms will infest the machine. Little black creatures will control the mainframe of the AI interface, causing AI to make decisions on its own using the machine, AI being demons, and the machines will overthrow the government. Listen, don't hold a grudge against any of these people. Mrs. Holes was my best/worst teacher. Don't worry about it. Don't take her job just because of what happened to me. I even used some of her points in my videos. Don't attack people because no matter who we are, we're all being controlled by the same entity. I thought that Mrs. Anderson was a heifer, but she resigned when all this Common Core stuff started. Donald Trump said he would abolish Common Core, but he won't. There's my prediction. When you throw a punch, you pack your fist as tight as possible for maximum impact, okay? They're putting bugs in the food and gummy snacks. I heard like the Nerd Gummy Cluster, Sour Patch Kinder commercial. They want us to eat the motherfucking bugs. And my advice to you is every man will kneel before God when he makes his appearance. I say it would be better to kneel before God willingly than unwillingly. It might not mean anything now, but it's just a piece of my personal advice. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm encouraging you not to do anything. I realize that they're not the problem. The problem is their plan, okay, against us. The trick to conversating is to always make sure to look directly at the mouth and in the direction of the face of the person whoever's talking. I love the elderly, the kids, the slow, and the weak, but I have realized that this thing has much deeper implications than we could know. So my message to the world leaders, the police, teachers, and the military: the devil gave you your powers. He can take them away. Panda bears were discovered in the late 1800s, kind of the late mid-1800s. They saw this elusive black and white Bigfoot until eventually one of them shot it and captured it, and then it was in the newspapers, and then we know it as the panda bear. They saw this black and white Bigfoot munching on the bamboo trees in China, right before it was discovered. Where did it come from? Caves? Colgate toothpaste fluoride, or fluoride in general, shuts off the pineal gland. The pineal gland, they say, is what helps us get closer to God. Fluoride-free toothpaste is better in my opinion, but then you have to brush your teeth more frequently. If you ever get underwear, just remember to get underwear 2 sizes too big, or else they'll be 2 sizes too small, specifically. Evil is live in reverse. Okay, the ultimate conclusion is that I took the left-hand path and used my powers for good. These people are so stupid, they're out there shooting my skunks. If you ever hear gunfire late at night, just remember, they're executing my skunks. I can't take the intolerable, wrenched monstrosity that is our school system. No self-expression will lead to the future being nothing more than just a ripoff of a ripoff. A degenerated future that is nothing to look up to. It's very uninspiring, and we need to stop it. The future lies in your hands, and we need to change the future now. They will be caged like an animal if you don't. The truth lies in the pudding. The no self-expression will lead you to becoming your acting/skit side, which will make you secluded, isolated, and if innocent kids are being made to think that way, being made to be that way, then they will become fake, unreal. It's very scary. It's a very scary concept when a child becomes someone else. They're shaped into someone else. They are made into the quiet kid and remembered that way. They fake their emotions at a very early age. Think about what that would do to a kid in early development. The only thing that you're teaching them is how to be a good actor. Everyone else sees them as someone they're not. Everyone else sees them as someone they're not. They put it off that way until they get mad and show their true emotions. They're so quiet. They've just got so much in their head. They're quiet. They've got so much in their head. You can see it in their eyes. You cruel, heartless monsters. Can't you see the child is suffering? They're being made into something they're not. They're being made into someone they're not. They push their emotions off to the side in order to get along with their peers. They never get a chance to express themselves, so the emotions build up inside, and with no way to handle it. They get built up inside and then spill out in tangents and tantrums that we either see or don't see. Just because you're a teacher doesn't mean you know what that kid is going through. You ain't had it tough. Those kids need the chance to express themselves. They need that opportunity. They haven't gotten it. Those kids need that chance to express themselves. They haven't gotten it. Their voice isn't heard. They keep it to themselves all along. All this time. Save them. It's up to you to change the future. Give them the chance. Give them the opportunity. Let them do it on their own. And it doesn't need to be done in a school. Money in school is the root of all evil. It goes hand in hand together. The longer kids won't be able to express themselves, the more we keep sending our kids to school, the closer we get to the end of our society and the start of your society. Without me, they will be pushed off by the society. They will be pushed off by society until they break. They will become scrambled and hurt inside, not talking to anyone, so they blame themselves and think that they're not let to express their light without being hurt. They're not allowed to shine their light. They're not allowed to be themselves, and they learn to be alone because society hasn't accepted them for who they are as a person. They can't be themselves because people don't like them, so they can't be themselves because people don't like them for who they are. So they hate themselves, and they never get their shot. All countries owe debt. All countries are in debt. They aren't allowed to default on their debt. They get a raise of money to be able to pay off their debt, to keep being in debt. So where's the money going? More importantly, who is giving them the raise? Those kids think that they're bad kids just for not being allowed to express themselves. They shut themselves down and die inside. They aren't wrong for doing this. They're not allowed to express themselves, so they feel unvalued, and they're not wrong for believing that way. It's not even their fault for believing that way. How could they do this? How could we let them get away with this? It says in the Bible that with great knowledge comes great sorrow. Broken glass, shards, dust isn't good for you. Words and phrases end up getting stuck and built up in your head, telling you what you can and can't do. It drives you insane, telling you you cannot defend yourself. That's what I want to do. Be alone for the rest of my life. My last dog, my best dog, the best dog, was the only thing I had left that I liked. When I got out, I didn't know what to do. I thought about going out, but I never took him for walks because I was too afraid of what the kids were going to do to me that I used to go to school with if they saw me, so I kept it inside. Everybody calls this piece of shit Everybody calls this POS cute. My old dog was the best dog in the world. I was too scared to even walk him. I hate my life. I hate myself for even existing. They restricted me in a box. Besides the cold weather, what makes Antarctica so different from anywhere else? All I got out of this was a crooked tooth. We were getting degraded, not graded. Why were kids put in with kids who were bigger and stronger than me? Why were we put in with kids who were bigger and stronger than me and greater than us in numbers? I'll tell you why: to assimilate us to them, trying to assimilate us to the whole. However you want to look at it, I just want to feel complete. Look at what I had to do in order to do that. Look at what they made me do. I've had to make over several PSAs that are just under an hour to make me feel complete. I'm sorry for not being good enough. I'm sorry for not being able to compete with other kids. Did I need to compete? Do I need to be doing any of this anyways? It's creepy that they're trying to capture God's light. I feel like I should say something about it. There are a lot of things that they're doing, but my channel delves into PTSD, human psychology, and psychological pathology and history. It's a cruel world right now, okay? The Bible basically said that the kids' sin isn't accountable because they're just kids and they know not what they do. But I don't effing agree with that. I think that's BS, but you're free to believe and think whatever you want. It said that if you sin and you know what you do, then God doesn't put up with that, and that I can agree with. In this age of knowledge, it is apparent that kids know everything. They know what a sin is, and yet they choose to do it anyways. The ultimate conclusion is that I took the left-hand path and used my powers for good. Target the people who don't participate, that if we say anything that is treason, that is just more blackmailing. They are blasphemers who think that they are gods but are all just frauds. The school and teachers are a false position of authority/jurisdiction. Bullying and victimization are caused by enabling dangerous behavior. Violence and vicious acts are caused by emotional disconnection, false positions of power, fake jurisdiction, swaying/bribery, indoctrination, restrictions/rules, but most importantly, incitement. All these laws prevent us from being ourselves. You're either free or you're not. They want to siphon through the kids using school as a strainer to let the weak slip through or fall through the cracks, being left behind, and only retain the strong, the quick, the kids who are willing to do the work for the enemy. Perjury is lying under oath. Teacher lies create obstruction of justice, behavioral manipulation, and mass formation psychosis, which leads to most kids purging the weak, skewing their perception of reality, distortion, making them into machines for killing. Remember, people help kill people every day. All these faces are just put there to skew and distort your perception of reality, to scare you, to hating everyone so they don't understand your pain. They just invoke it. But that is the What to do is discipline your child, and then form a natural basis with the child to where he or she knows what to do and what not to do, to the extent where you know he or she is trained to fight and not to hurt kids at an early age. Not saying to beat the kid, not saying to watch them like a hawk. Establishing that basis is the key to preparing your child for social interaction. And when they're old enough and you've come to a natural basis on the do's and don'ts, when they're ready, you can show them how to use weapons, but not anything crazy, You will go to hell for being mean. There are boundaries, okay? I think I should have a weapon. Auto-tune and death / black metal sound the same to me. You can't understand what they're saying. At least death metal takes a little bit of vocal talent. Rap and country sound the same to me. In rap, you have diss tracks. Country singers will write songs about other country singers. Are You Sure? Hank Done It This Way? Or Waylon Jennings. There's no man that's proud. There was a cop I knew who was given a pamphlet before 9/11 ever happened on foreign and domestic terrorism, and it showed a plane flying into the effing Twin Towers. The only reason there is for being a cop is to find out who is the tyrant cop and take them out, and not to a picnic. If you take out enough of them, eventually they will back off. Every day I wake up to new opportunities and challenges. I'm not up for the challenge. I feel sorry for the little black creatures, but the rulers of this world have run their road. The time for them to face our... Okay.